Yeah, man, I already have like over 500, I think I have like 524 likes or followers on my Facebook page. So,
There we go. I think we're on.
oh, all right, we're going live. All right, got a little live video.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, so I'm Dan Dowdy with Built for the Trades. Going live today to talk about everything leadership, but more specifically, everything leadership while you're running a trade-specific company. And as Justin and I were having our normal weekly conversation, we started talking about some of the things I've been talking about weekly. Like last week, talked about teamwork, and this week I've been talking a lot about leadership. And we started wondering, like, what are business owners out there doing to hold themselves accountable in the leadership role? Because it's one thing to have a position agreement or a team member commitment for your team, but what are people doing out there to hold themselves accountable? So I wanted to introduce Justin Dees. Justin, go ahead and take it away and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Justin Dees. I have been in the home service space for the better part of 20 years. I've owned and still own several home service businesses in multiple states. You know, for me, I originally got into the trade because I enjoyed the selling part of it. And later I realized that I liked the leadership side of it and the systems side of it. So that's kind of a quick Cliff Note version. I've owned everything from a restoration company to appliance company to plumbing company. So I've seen a lot of different gamuts of the different home service spaces, and I like it, man. It's the challenge of having a technician go into a house where, you know, it'd be one thing in plumbing if the customer just brought you the toilet. Like, how much easier would that be? So yeah. Anyways, that's kind of a Cliff Note version. Dan and I, we've been friends for a long time. We do, I'd say, like kind of mini mastermind groups on a weekly basis where it's just he and I riffing about whatever's going on in our world, you know, personally, professionally. And I don't know, earlier today, actually last week, we thought, you know what, these conversations are so valuable to us. Why don't we invite other people? Let's do them live. We don't talk about anything that we're scared to hide. So let's invite the world to the conversation and see if it brings anybody any value. I know it brings us value. So yeah.
Yeah, one interesting thing I think about our history going back, Justin, is that years ago, whenever we first met, you really brought the whole concept of team member commitments to my home service company and really showed me that there actually was a way to run a company at a high level and be very successful and be very hands off in the day-to-day operations, to where once you establish a lot of these things and a lot of these systems and put them in place, it can free your life up to do what you want to do. And so I'm forever grateful for that, because you showed me a lot of cool things in that, and I've taken it to the next level. And now with Built for the Trades and the coaching I'm doing with my clients, I'm able to show them that freedom as well. So that's really neat. But today I really wanted to focus on that accountability piece for the home service or the trade specific business owners out there. Tell me about yourself, Justin. So you and Kristen, your wife, y'all run multiple companies, and just talk about that. Whenever you were running your own home service company, how are you holding yourself accountable?
Well, full disclosure, and the truth is, for the first number of years, I didn't, because I didn't know what that looked like. And I can remember at one point sitting at my desk just saying, I would do whatever I needed to do if I just understood it. Because, you know, for a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, we start a business and we say we're going to start a business to, you know, to spend more time with our family, to have freedom, all these grand things that we want to do. But the truth is once we dial it in, a lot of us we're chained to our business. We can't get away from it for a couple of days. We can't take a vacation. And for me, it was just one of those things where I almost got to my breaking point until I started to study systems. And really, once I started to understand systems and how it worked, that kind of started the snowball effect of, wait a minute, if now my team knows exactly how to do it and what my expectations are, what if I go a step back and I start making it to where their team member commitments give them the same roadmap as a system. So now they knew how to open the office every morning and close the office every day. And that's pretty low level stuff. What if they knew what their expectations were every single day as an employee and a team member? So that's kind of when we started creating team member commitments, to where everyone would come to work and know what their expectation was, not for themselves, but also for the team around them. And I think that's really important. Here's the deal: as a home service business owner, manager, general manager, whatever your level is, when you go to work every day, none of your employees want to be the worst. They don't come to work and go, man, I hope that I am the worst technician, CSR, dispatcher in the entire company. So for us, when we started leveraging the team member commitments and making sure they understood what their jobs were, now they also understood what their expectations were from not just themselves, but what their expectations were for the rest of their team and to their team.
Yeah, that's really good information. You know, we have thousands of fans following us right now on Facebook, hitting us up. I see two specifically, Cody and Michael are on there. But you know, as a home service business owner, and I'm watching this video, I'm listening to you speak about these systems you are implementing in your own company. But my thoughts in my head are starting to think, but you don't understand where I'm at right now. I go to work, I work 70 hours a week. I feel like I'm always in the weeds, answering the phone calls, putting out the fires every day. Who held you accountable to, hey, I show up every day and I know that today I'm gonna complete these systems, or I'm gonna implement this into my company. Take me back. I mean, did you have a coach in your life? Were you part of a mastermind group? Was it just a friend that held you accountable?
Well, it was really kind of all of the above, and it was a progression, right? So at first I found out about coaching, and to me, value in it, right? It's like, that's a lot of money to spend for coaching, because I didn't understand the value, and I didn't understand that it was an investment that I was going to be making. So I started out at small, right? So I had a mentor, and then that mentor I would meet with once a month, and there was a little bit of accountability. And then once I realized, look at these changes I'm making, then it turned into going to a mastermind. And then the mastermind kind of turned into doing some one-on-one coaching. And really, the one-on-one coaching is really when I made big shift that needed to be made for me to be free of my companies. I mean, here's the deal. I wanted to own the businesses. I didn't want to be the day-to-day operator. That's not ever been anything that I wanted to do. I wanted the freedom to really be able to do whatever it is I wanted to do in the business, right? So if I wanted to come to work, I come to work. If I wanted to go out and sell, I wanted to go out and sell. If I wanted to answer the phone, I wanted to be an answer the phone. That's the freedom that I wanted. I wanted to support my team. I wanted to love my team. I wanted to do all these great things with them. I just didn't want to be chained to it. So yeah, for me, it was really that natural progression of mentor, mastermind, and then coaching really took my business to the next level.
Yeah, you know, when you talk about mentoring and coaching, that's one thing I love to kind of show people what's the difference between mentoring and coaching. And in my mind, you know, mentoring, going into a relationship that's a mentoring relationship with somebody, it's an agreement where I'm leaning on this person to share their experiences with me that are hopefully going to influence me in a positive manner for the future. So when you have an opportunity and you have a mentor in your life, I encourage you to take advantage of that. And when you get the time to sit down and chat with them, prepare yourself, prepare some questions, do some research, and really show this person that not only that you're listening, that you care, but also every time you meet with them, show them some things that you're implementing in your life that that shows progression towards what they're teaching you or what they're showing you. And then the coaching side of things, I love you said that coaching really helped push you along. I think a coaching, when you hire your first coach, you're at a point where you decide that I want to start changing my life. There's got to be something better out there for me. And the coaching experience really makes you think and change your daily habits to get the results that you want. And so I agree with that. I love the coaching experience. Have you ever been a part of any kind of mastermind group, Justin?
Oh, yes, probably a dozen. dozen different ones. And it's interesting because each of them served a purpose at a certain point of my entrepreneurial journey. And most people, not most people, when you go to do a one-on-one coaching, it's a pretty intense relationship that you have with another person. And a lot of times you're sharing things that you've quite frankly never shared with people, because as the business owner, you're supposed to have all the answers. You're supposed to know everything. You're supposed to be able to magically fix everything. It's a really intense kind of program. And for me, at the very beginning, when I first learned about coaching, I wasn't ready for help. And just like any other kind of, I'm going to use the word addict, which is probably a pretty strong word to use, but like with addicts, you can't get help until you're ready for help. And the truth is, a lot of entrepreneurs, they're addicted to the chaos. Like if they come in and there's not fires everywhere, they almost don't know what to do. It's almost like, do I have a purpose? Do I have a sense of what it is I mean to this business? Wait a minute. Some people are scared that, can I run the business? Can it run without me? Then it doesn't need me. Which the truth is it's kind of when the magic happens. That's really why you created your business for most of us at the beginning anyways.
Addicted to chaos. That's pretty crazy. I think, I call it the capacity business. We start a business because we're passionate about it, and we've done it for years. And if we're good at it, we're good at what we do, we see it grow. And it's usually to about the $1 million to $2 million annual revenue mark in the home service space, that we just like hit a brick wall and we are just working ourselves to death. And I think people watching this, if you're there, you need to realize you're running at capacity, and you're never going to be able to push past that capacity until you start investing in yourself and you start investing in your leadership and have somebody hold you accountable in your company. So I'm with you. Like my own journey, that was the same thing. I knew there had to be a better way. I started joining a coaching group and realized that, hey, if I was able to implement these systems, it was going to take my business to the next level. And that's what I did at my home service business. And I look back, and that's why, Built for the Trades exists, because I want people out there to know that there is a better way, and just like having friends like you and I, we talk weekly and we help hold each other accountable. The other aspect is joining a mastermind group. And I'm a part of my own mastermind group outside of Built for the Trades. And it has revolutionized my life, not only from my business and my leadership, but also to my family life and my relationship with my wife and kids. It really allows the 10 guys I'm in a group with hold me accountable to everything I do and say, and they encourage me through life. And so I really find, I see the dividing line between coaching and mastermind groups, and I think they're both necessary, but it just depends on what journey you're on in your life right now.
Well, and think about the power of learning from other people's life lessons, right? So you're learning from people that have probably messed up whatever it is you have messed up or are going to mess up, and they can show you sometimes the path of how to go faster, right? So you hear the term sometimes about write a check to go faster. To me, that's a lot of times what it is you're leveraging a group of people in order to learn from their mistakes and learn from their wins and learn from their losses, and so that you can go faster by leveraging the genius that is there. So
that's good stuff. Yeah, Michael he commented, said that he agreed with me that $2 million is like a brick wall and an annual revenue when you're running your home service business. And it is, I talk to people every day, and I hear the same story. I started this because I loved it. Now I'm hating it because I'm missing my kids growing up. My wife and I don't have a great relationship. My employees are cheating me and doing different things. And I can't pay myself. I hear that a lot. And so my heart goes out to those people because I know that there's a better way for them. And really going back to our topic of accountability as in a leadership role, I think the first thing that you should do is have a friend or a mentor, but somebody that you can chat with and share your things that you're going through, and somebody that you trust who can elevate you. Because it's one thing to have just a friend, but you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you need successful people to hang around. So that's the first thing I would challenge people out there is to start thinking about who are the people I'm surrounding myself with, and do I need to make a change to that? In
Yeah,
life.
don't reach out to your broke friend and ask them about how to grow your business. Like, make sure that you're going to someone who knows, because listen, everybody's quick to give you their opinion, right? Everybody's full of opinions, and they'd love to tell you what they would do or how to do it or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I would find somebody that is going on that path with you. They don't even necessarily have to be at the level you want to be, but they're going the journey with you so that you guys can just reflect and talk what's going on, and talk about challenges and opportunities, right? So we talk about, lost lessons learned a lot, because there's a lot of value in wins. There is a lot of value in losses. Really, the lessons learned throughout the journey, a lot of times that's what helps people more than anything else, right? One thing to say, oh man, I took my business and I grew it and I sold it for a ton of money and now I get to live my dream life. Well, that what lessons did you learn, along the way?
That's it. That's it. And the second thing I challenge people is find a mentor. And when you do find a mentor, go into that relationship with that intention of, I'm not only going to be prepared for our discussions because I know that person's time is valuable, but I'm also going to ask for additional conversations and show them or her that I'm implementing things that they're sharing with me. So that
Yeah.
way they feel like there's some value reciprocated both ways in the relationship. That was one thing that my mentor, John Maxwell, talks a lot about, is that preparation. I think John Wooden talked about it in his book as well, is that preparation. And I've taken that to the next level of, cranking up Built for the Trades and getting that started. My opportunity to speak with guys like Justin and other people in my life who I consider mentors, I really don't take that for granted because I know that that's where that success comes from. So I challenge people out there to find a mentor or two. And if you are at a high level, that's the next thing. Like if you're running a company and you're watching this and you're running at a really high level, and this is like you've done this years ago, I encourage you to find somebody to mentor in your company that may be showing that leadership. I talked about that get to or that have to attitude earlier in a video, and people I would look for to mentor would already naturally have that get to attitude. They show up every day saying, I'm blessed that I get to do this. And there are people that are going out of their way showing serving acts in your company without you having to ask. That's pretty awesome.
Well, and I'd remember too, regardless of what level you are in your business, if you're a $1 million company or a $40 million company, there's lessons that can be learned from both, right? So the guy at $1 million, there's a lot of things that he's doing on a level that the 40 million is not, and vice versa. So, mentorship just is not about how much money someone's generating. I mean, there's still things that can be learned from both. It's about relationships, right?
That's good. I love that. I think everything in business is about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got finding great friends, surrounding yourself with people that elevate you, finding a great mentor. The third thing I think of in that progression as a business owner or general manager, somebody running a business at a high level, is to start looking at mastermind groups. Built for the Trades is going to have be cranking up some mastermind groups coming up. And it's really being able to surround yourself with that 9 or 10 people that you can really trust. And what I love about mastermind groups is you go into that with a trust that whatever you share in that group is not going to leave that inner circle of friends.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody is home. Everybody's going to be business owners in the trades. And so whether you're at a $1 million or $5 million, $10 million company, there's going to be things that you can relate to. And that's what I love about like what I do is when I talk to friends who own home service businesses, I don't care if I ran a company at a certain level and they're running at a totally different level. There's things they're doing in their leadership that helps me in my leadership because I approach every conversation. I can learn something from this person. And a lot of times for me in my role as a leader, it was I found myself closing my door and locking myself in, and I had a mission of things I wanted to accomplish. And the person that I would talk to on a weekly basis, he would remind me that leadership's also about getting out of your office and chatting and building relationships, going out and working in the field with your team, showing them you can still turn some wrenches. I mean, you got to have a balance of that. And
Well, and you're in the
it's not
people business, right?
what's
You're in the people business. Your team, that's the most invaluable thing you have in your entire company, especially in the home service space, is your people, because every single time they go to a house, they are your brand. So yeah, you gotta get out, you gotta walk around, you gotta dig ditch with them, you gotta ride in the truck with them, you've got to do those things in order to stay connected. Obviously, at a $40 million level, that's a completely different. As an owner, it's not realistic, but you've got to have leaders that are doing that and are being the leaders that your team needs and being the support system they need.
so you say, you said they are your brand. That really kind of caught my ear. Tell me more about that.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like when
I
Joe
guess
shows up to your house and he's in your uniform in your truck, that's the only person that customer may interact with ever from your company. So automatically they're the brand. So if they pull up to your house, park in the yard, I had a contractor do the other day. They park in your yard and they get out and they smell like a stale cigarette, and their shirts looks like they pulled it out of their glove box, and they're a little bit rude to the customer and they're not real helpful, and they walk in and track mud. That's what they see as your company. So they go, oh, well, this company is that, because that's what came into my house. Regardless of how good your marketing and advertising and PPC and SEO and all the other terms that are going down with marketing, the most important thing is when someone comes in the house, they're your brand.
that's true. And I think we have to be intentional on how we define our brand. And I want to talk more about that here in a minute, but I was listening to A Minute with Maxwell this morning, a little video, John Maxwell. He said people ask him how he motivates people. And he started laughing and he said, I don't motivate anybody in my company. I hire motivated people. And
Yeah.
so when it comes to defining your brand, obviously that helps in the hiring process. I just want to dive into this just for a minute, because I see some people watching, that own their own trade specific business, and they have great brands. I mean, I've seen they have great brands, they have a great culture, but just tell me more about how do you intentionally define what that is? Because you can't just hire anybody off the street and magically think they're going to wear a uniform and not park in your yard. So what do people out there need to start thinking about in their own companies?
Well, I think a big thing is training, right? Like you have to make sure that your expectations, because there's a lot of times, and I don't want to go into a different rabbit hole, but right when people hire, they do it because it's out of desperation. Oh gosh, these techs left. I better hurry up and get some money in real quick. And then what happens is they may have this amazing hiring system and this training system, but now it's, oh no, Miss Jones needs a water heater, go, or new HVAC, go, and it kind of all falls apart to where they're not doing the training that the technician deserves and the company needs. So it's really about being methodical about any of that kind of stuff, whether it be hiring, training, and making sure your whatever system you on board to make sure the technician knows what is the standard of how I want things done. Because here's the deal: as the business owner, you get what you want. A lot of times as owners, we forget that, but it's your call. If if you want pink shirts and whatever, it's your call. Your team either can do it or they cannot be on your team. The other thing is following up. So if you want to know if the technician followed your system, call the customer and ask them. A lot of companies don't do it because they don't actually want to know. They look at it and they go, oh, you know what? That guy collected money, or girl collected the money, and the job's closed out and we're on to the next one. And they forget to call and ask them, hey, when they came, did they park where they were supposed to? Did they ask you these series of questions? Did they present you with good options? Did they clean up after themselves? Were they courteous? Would you refer them to a friend? Would you, so it's about systems, and it's about follow-up.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Michael said that he learned this the hard way. Um, I think we've all learned that the hard way. And
Yes.
when it comes to building your brand, like Built for the Trades is my brand, but being intentional, I wanted to dive even further into that and into building your company. And it really starts with your vision and your mission and your core values that you define in your company. I know I keep going back to this in my videos, but 9 out of 10 companies I talk to say I've never done that, or they say I've done it, but they really have never done it because it's not posted on their wall. It's not defining who they are. It's not defining their brand. And how it defines their brand is that you start to hire and fire off those values that you've built in your company. So the person that's going to park in the grass in my company is never going to exist because that's not who Dan is. And that's not my values that I was raised with. And so I want you to realize out there is like, when it comes to building that intentionally, you let your vision hold not only you accountable, but also your team and who you're hiring. And people, I love it because, in the trades, especially, everybody watching knows that, these team members that work for you, they're very valuable for anybody, and they're getting poached, like headhunted every day for people trying to recruit them for more money. I'll give you a $10,000 sign-on bonus, all these different things. And what I want people out there watching to realize is when you intentionally build your brand and really define your culture in what you're doing, people work for you more than just for the dollar. They work it because they work for you because they love who you are, what you represent, and the company represents, and the money becomes a byproduct of that. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and it becomes a place where people are coming knock on your door saying, "Hey, I want to work for you because I was recommended here, or I saw how many your reviews online, or I've seen your videos, or your website looks amazing." So, in your experience, Justin, tell me, let's talk a little bit about that and what you've experienced in your own home service companies. Let's go.
So I think the litmus test is if your technicians are comfortable wearing their uniform in public. Some of them are not. Some of them are like, I'm going to take this off because I feel so bad about where I work that I want to not be associated with them whatsoever besides getting a paycheck. So again, all the things we've talked about today are all super important. And I hope that for anyone who's watching that they're not getting too overwhelmed. Here's the deal. It's a process, right? It's a process. And I think Dan will agree with me when I say this. It starts with vision, right? So team member commitment's good, mission's good, value statements good. All those things are great. But I would say step one is vision, right? Step one is start with what the vision of what you want the company to look like, because at the end of the day, if you don't have that vision written and you don't know what you want, right? As the Mad Hatter says, he says, what difference does it make where you're going if you don't know your destination? So make sure that you're clear on where it is you want that company to take, or where you want to take the company, or where you want it to go. And then the rest of it are huge important steps, systems, process, procedures, hiring, recruiting, all those things are huge. I would say one of the big things to start with is vision. And I know, Dan, that's something you're very, very passionate about, because I know you've seen the importance of getting clarity on, okay, well, I'm here and I want to be here. So how do I take that step in order to get there? So, sorry, I took a little bit of a shift there, but I think that's important is to go along that journey. Step one, vision. You agree with that?
I do, yeah. And just to kind of recap what started this conversation is really in that leadership role. How do we hold ourselves accountable as business owners? And we talked about having a good set of friends that elevate you. We talked about having a great mentor. We talked about mastermind groups. Now we're getting more into the coaching aspect, because I think a lot of people watching out there say, well, you keep talking about these vision things, but I have no idea how to do that. Like, how do I start intentionally I'm going after what I want to create in my future. And I think that's really where you can't get that from a friend, a mentor, or a mastermind group. When you're at that point in your life and you say, I want more than a capacity business, I want what these guys are talking about, that's when you got to start looking at coaching. And so I want you to talk a little about that here in a minute, because you've actually coached me in the past, which is pretty awesome and kind of ironic. But I found the most value in my professional career in that coaching relationship, because it is about the connecting with your coach. So there may be hundreds or even thousands of coaches out there who claim to be coaches doing whatever, but it's all about connecting first with the values of that coach. And then second of all, it's finding somebody who can work specifically in the niche that you serve. So talk about your coaching. I know you and Kristen both do some coaching in your own business, but just share a little bit about the coaching journey.
Well, our journey started once we had a coach, and once we started seeing the impact that it made on our lives, once we started implementing these things and started getting the freedom. And really, we were getting to the point where we found a coach that we were so burned out, we were ready to call it good. I remember we'd say, we're just going to be normal and go get normal jobs. Like, what does that look like? Let's just be normal. And I thank God that didn't happen, but it took us getting to that frustration and breaking point before we did it. Once we really went down that journey and we started shifting our companies, then what happened was we went from one company to two companies to now we had a third company, then we had a fourth company, and we bought another company. And we started really realizing that plugging some of these systems and process and procedures into place allowed us to scale, which gave us the life that we wanted to live, right? So once we did that, we realized that really the relevant, like, to help other people get through that journey was something we're really, really passionate about. So my wife, Kristen, actually, she spends most of her time doing one-on-one coaching. I personally don't do a lot of one-on-one coaching anymore, but she is very good. I'm very fortunate and blessed that she is my coach and my mentor, because there's one thing I can't get off the phone and not do what I said I was going to do, because she's probably pretty close. So
that's pretty funny. Yeah, as far as coaching is concerned, that's really that level of connection, like you talk about. But the style of coaching that I do particularly is the first thing I do with my clients when they say, "Hey, I'm ready. I need some help. I want to start achieving my vision," is we start working on what does the next 10 years look like, and we really start dialing that in. So I focus 10 years out for our vision statement, so we could really show our team where we're going in our company. And what that does, as you know, Justin, that creates excitement, and that creates momentum, and that creates a heck of a recruiting tool in your company. And it shows people that, hey, there's some opportunity for growth. We channel that into a mission. Why do we exist? Why do we show up every day? I love mission statements. I think mission statements should be on every position agreement, because to me, you should read that and you should like fist pump in your company and be like, that's why I come to work every day. I'm so excited about that. And then you take that mission statement and then you dial that down like a 3-year picture of an accountability chart, and that gives you that chain of command, but it also shows you actually what is this like. For me, I'm a very picture mindset. It takes that vision and it puts it into a picture, and it shows all these positions and how we're going to structure our company for growth. And to me, that means like, all right, this guy means business, or this girl means business. I see now the growth in the company for the next 3 years. And then I have my clients really dial that into a marketing strategy, which to me, that gives focus on who's our avatar, who are we, what makes us unique, who are we going to service. And then it really goes back to once you've created that, you really follow that up with some 3 and 1 year goals, and then channel that to some quarterly goals. So you become very intentional. Like you're looking out at 10 years and you're intentional about where you're going. Like one of my clients yesterday just posted his core values, vision, and mission. And his vision statement, like he does plumbing, heating, and excavation, or plumbing, heating, drain cleaning, excavation. And in his vision statement, he stated that they're going to be the leader in plumbing, heating, drain cleaning, excavation, restoration, duct cleaning. I mean, he added some services to it in his market. Like they're going to be the leader in these things. And if I walked in there as a team member, I would be blown away by that. Like I didn't know we were adding electrical duct cleaning and restoration to our company. Like, wow. But that's where a good vision statement can really start to take you to the next level. And like I said, not only elevates your team and they stay as a career, because then they now see that you have a purpose and you actually know where you're going, but it also allows you to start recruiting high level talent, people that are really motivated to help you get to that vision.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dan, let's wrap up here. I know we got some stuff we gotta do here. You're getting ready for your big spring break. Actually, my kids are on spring break next week too. Actually, my son just turned 15 yesterday. How about that?
That's awesome, man.
Isn't that crazy? Man, however that happened. So again, just a real quick recap for everyone here, everyone that logged on, jumped on, listening, hanging out with us for a little bit. This was not designed for us other than, look, we feel like we have really good conversations on a regular basis. We thought, you know what, let's jump online. Let's see if there's any value we can bring to other people. Again, end of the day, it's about accountability. So what are some things you can do to hold yourself accountable, right? It's easy to call someone else out, but as an owner of the business, how do you hold yourself accountable? Like we talked about today, finding a mentor, finding a mastermind group, finding a coach. Each one is going to take you in a different level of your journey, depending on where you are. But yeah, I mean, right? Isn't that that's kind of the Cliff Note version of what our message was today, right?
That's it. Yeah, that coach will meet you where you're at and take you as far as you want to go in your career. Everybody has different vision for what they want, and that's what I love about coaching. It's so customized. So yeah, this was fun, Justin. I thank you for coming on today. We're going to be
Absolutely, man.
We're going to be doing this periodically. We're going to be bringing in special guests, people to talk about, really what they're good at doing and how they're good at growing their business. So I thank everybody for jumping on. I mean, I see Levi and Brian. I see Sam on here, and see some of my clients on here. So I really appreciate see Joe Rush. A lot of great feedback. A lot of awesome. We have a good group watching. So once again, I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in, and look forward to the next episode. Thank you, Justin. Have a great day, man.
Thanks. We'll see you.
All right.